What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about The Batman again. Now, I believe I already reviewed this movie. I'm pretty sure going back in the memory banks, but this is a little bit different because in a way, I want to re-review it, but I want to talk about why, in my belief, I actually think it could be better watching it a second time. I had wanted to watch this movie a second time for a long time. A thing you should maybe know about me that would kind of be like, well, Alex, you've watched the movie twice. Like, many people have done that. Some people watched it 3, 4, or 5 times. Well, a thing with me is unless it's a specific movie franchise for the most part, a lot of movies I see one time and that's it. There's probably way more movies in my life that I've lived and I've seen that I've only watched one time and I've never gone back. Only franchises, Fast and Furious, Harry Potter, Pirates of the Caribbean. Some of these franchises I've seen movies dozens and dozens of times, but other times I don't do it. So for The Batman, I do think it says something that I even wanted to see it, 2 times in the first place. And, watching it a second time, I watched it at home just on the TV. I bought it. I bought it digitally. I should have bought it physically. Maybe one day I still will. But I really enjoyed it. I think people even said this to me, like, one of the reasons it took me so long and I didn't watch it was because of the runtime. Such a long, it's like 2:45, whatever it happens to be without, the end credits. It's a long film. And I'm not saying like, my time, well, I guess my time is valuable. I mean, it's my time. I guess it's my right to say that, right? I'm not saying I don't have free time, but, sometimes it just doesn't work. It doesn't work out to do it. And, devoting 3 hours of your time, that's quite a bit to watching a movie a second time when you've already watched it. I finally did it, and some people have told me, like, well, what's funny about it is it actually feels pretty fast. Like, the movie actually goes fast, specifically, like, more times you watch it. And maybe that was in my subconscious as I was watching the movie, because I actually do agree. Not saying it felt slow or that was, like, an issue the first time, but I guess knowing what's going to happen and watching it play out real time, but knowing what's coming, it's like the movie actually moves pretty fast. Like, there were moments I checked my phone, but it's like, again, I'm watching it a second time. I'm on my couch. I'm in the house, right? It's a different atmosphere than watching it in the movie theaters. I probably have some sort of ADHD, symptom thing going on, right? So it's like, of course I'm going to do that, but I did find overall the movie moves really quickly. Even though it's a more like dragging its feet, and it does take things pretty slow, but it feels it's odd because it is a slow film, but it actually does move from one big set piece. And maybe that's because it's like, oh, I remember this scene being so incredible. Oh, we're already there. Oh, I remember this next scene. Oh, we're already there, right? Like, it almost had that feeling where it's like, the opening is so good. Really, the entire detective story, the whole thing is just going from one location to the next, solving different riddles and puzzles and all that stuff. And it moves. It's like, okay, well, he's going to eventually be knocked out. He's, you have the whole where the guy has to answer the phone, right, when he drives through the memorial service. It's like you just remember these really awesome parts. And even the last part of the last like 30 minutes, which I remember saying, it feels very disjointed. The last 30 minutes of this film to the rest of it does kind of feel like a different movie where they almost felt they needed to go to like a spectacle just to do it. I still feel that, but I overall, like, I maybe I don't care as much, or I didn't care as much, right? But I really enjoyed it. I mean, again, like, everybody's so good in this film. The acting is like top. It really is. Like, for a superhero movie, the acting is such top-notch stuff, even compared to other, like, even some of the Marvel stuff. And I'm not making this. This is not supposed to be. So maybe I just did it by myself, and that's my fault. So I'm sorry. It's not a Marvel versus DC. I'm just saying, sometimes the acting doesn't necessarily need to shine. Sometimes it does. I mean, there's incredible acting and incredible characters in a lot of the Marvel stuff. But just watching it, it's like you almost can't believe it because everybody is so... Gordon is phenomenal. Like, everybody's just so good in the film. So I was really, really happy to watch it again. Everything still hit. Like, obviously there's some stuff, and, it was the first time when you're watching it, maybe you're trying to solve, the riddles and stuff with them. Obviously, the answers now. But besides that, and of course, and that's maybe a reason why I don't do it, right? Again, like, a lot of, besides the franchises, some franchises that really, really stick out to me, it has to make an impact in my life. And I'm not really too much of a movie guy, right? We've talked about that. Like, I review movies, and I've talked about movies on both channels. I love doing it, and I will continue to do it. But, gaming is kind of like my thing. It always has been. It always will be. So when it comes to movies, it's like, if I watch the movie one time, no big deal. So a movie needs to, at first, just in the first thing that it does, it needs to make an impact on me enough that I'd even want to see it a second time. And then when I do see it a second time, a lot of movies I feel like obviously take steps back. And I'm sure this one did in some regard. I don't know. I didn't really like the screening we went to. I won't get too much into the actual experience. Some stuff is actually a little personal that we'll go into maybe one day, but I didn't really love the IMAX experience so much, mainly because, obviously the movie came out the Thursday night, right? And I think they had the early showings in select cities. Remember, they picked select cities, select movie theaters to actually show the movie, I think the Monday night before it came out. And we went. I actually got tickets. It was way more expensive than a normal ticket. That was a lot of fun. And, I normally don't go to the specific screen in the theater that it was. It was very packed. Everybody was very tight. I didn't really like it very much. I honestly think the movie experience didn't, and that's the thing, right? Like, movie experiences can obviously help things when you think of like an Avengers Endgame or Infinity War. Infinity War I still think massively holds up, but those movies are helped. They really are, big time, by the movie experience. Almost like putting in scenes that you're going to get like applause, and so that's going to be very powerful, but it may feel kind of weak afterwards for like second, third, fourth viewings. For the Batman, like, yes, obviously seeing it in a theater I'm sure would amplify it, and I'm sure it did amplify it, but seeing it at home, maybe again because I didn't like the screening, the theater or whatever, but like seeing it at home, I really didn't feel a drop like that at all. Now maybe for like a Dune, right? Like, I still haven't watched Dune. Something like a Dune that would become more of an issue because obviously people said, see it in theaters, Alex. And I said, I will. Never did it. And so that's, again, my fault. But yeah, so that's what I thought about the Batman. I don't know when I would watch it a third time. I'd probably give it a while, like at least maybe the 1 year anniversary, something like that. I would probably go back. But I'm good. I'm good watching it twice for now. We'll watch a third time next year, year after, whatever. But I cannot wait. I really can't. I cannot wait for the sequel. I really have so much faith. I had faith when I watched the movie the first time. I have even more faith the second time. It's just a really good film, takes itself seriously, but it's got all the elements of a movie that you would want it to have. It's got that heart. It's got great acting. It's got great shots. It's got great visuals. It's got great, honestly, everything in the movie, while also being a DC film, which is insane. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I'll see you all on the next one.